here's my thought on this. Where's my thing? All right, so on time date, all right, you guys can see this, right? You see my mouse?
Yep.
So we have our person on the ground. That's this guy over here. I'm looking at the stars, and I got these constellations of these stars over here, and here's the moon, um, and there are the stars. Okay, the sun is all the way rotated down here, on a ball Earth. Make sense?
Yep.
That's what Stellarium is showing us. But
Yep.
we don't live on a ball Earth, and we live on a flat Earth. So the sun is out of our perspective from that point of view. But as this guy gets higher in the sky, the sun becomes, in our perspective, rises above the cloud horizon, and the moon, you know, the moon is invisible to us because this side of the sun is lit, this side of the moon is lit. But from the Earth's point of view, you look up, you're going to see a half a moon. But from our point of view, you're not going to see. You're going to see a black moon, which is nothing, and it's invisible in the day, or especially in the night sky. But the stars will still be in the relatively or almost exact same configuration.
Yeah.
But in that footage we do, when we in the photographs we've analysed, the close-ups that I just showed, there you're seeing the moon seems to be half illuminated.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
half illuminated. So look, so you take
That's from altitude, right?
yeah, but you take the sun rays from the sun, and the sun is going to light up this half of the moon. So the sun rays are going, it lights up half the moon.
Uh,
So the back half of the moon, from the sun's point of view.
Actually, you know what, David? I got to interject. Your diagram is a little bit false because the sun is actually on the other side of the image in the actual footage, and it's beyond our horizon point going south. You have to go southeast.
Wait, where is it? I thought the sun was three
No,
hours to the east behind the moon.
behind. Yeah,
Yeah,
behind
and
the
I
moon.
just I just checked the moon phase for that day, and it looks like it was a half moon.
Yeah,
It,
so
it, it,
Yeah.
hear me out. If this is to this guy is looking at the sun to the east. The moon has risen. 3 hours later, the sun is going to come in, is going to rise, but we're
correct.
up and we're seeing the sun, um, but it's not being eclipsed by the moon, um, and you can't see the moon, and it's lighting up half the moon. From the Earth's point of view, you can see half the moon. From the
I
sun's point of view, it's a full moon, and from the camera's point of view, it's
Oh
a
yeah, I see what you're saying. So it's still the moon could be in between. Yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, if I could screen share for 1 second, and then you will come back to this diagram, we could
okay.
maybe see if we could get it a little bit more precise.
Sure.
Well, that's definitely not. That's my sound card. Sorry. There we go. There we go. So if I click Stellarium, is it not opening? Wonder why. 1 second, guys. Sorry about this. Okay,
Yeah,
here we
no
go.
worries.
You
Come
long
on, man,
day.
get your shit together.
Okay, there we go. So this is the footage we're seeing. Here's the video that I uploaded to Event Skeptic has this is one evidence. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is one evidence that I caught, and then this triangle here, I guess that GC4462 and CRV, whatever that is. So okay, let's go through what happens. We go. Let's do the hours. So the sun is actually over here to the east, correct? And here it comes. So it's in my opinion, it looked to me like the moon here is facing its light, and sometimes it's half of the moon is lit this way. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
are seeing that,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking the moon is. And by the way, Stellarium is showing it way up in the distance, and what we're seeing from a high vantage is more down here. The
Well,
moon.
but that's perspective. It's gonna quickly race towards the horizon as you gain altitude or move away. Wait, go back to that. Go back to the scene where the sun was just coming up.
Okay.
Yeah, what I don't
Yeah,
get.
because I don't understand how the light is possibly reflecting and getting that. But go
Through the
ahead.
moon. It'd be going
So,
through the moon.
so,
Exactly. Yeah.
Maybe that's what's happening.
so my thought is that take your mouse and put it in the upper right hand corner of the screen. No, that's the left, the upper right.
Oh, sorry, yeah, my
So
right.
so the balloon is where your mouse is right now. Yeah, keep going, keep
No,
going.
it'd be the balloon would be further back, like up here somewhere, behind, like up here,
But
looking that way.
so it's look. I put the balloon in line with the moon and the sun. If you drew a line from the balloon to the
You think it's
moon
over?
and then into the distance. No, I'm saying. Well, it's hard to tell from this converted picture, but the
Yeah, because I
balloon.
honestly I've never seen moonlight look like that ever.
So the last thing, the if you drew a line from the camera on the balloon to
Oh,
the sun, the moon is somewhere in between that middle of that line. Somewhere the sun is three
yeah.
hours behind it, and if that was the case, the moon would be invisible to the camera, but it would be a half a moon, give or take, from the people on the Earth below it.
Yeah, and still reflecting the sunlight. Yeah,
Can I just interject here?
sure.
Something
No.
I
Yeah.
find very curious
Yes.
about this,
Go
right,
ahead.
is on here the moon has risen on your version there, Ronnie, right? You had the moon
Yeah.
rising up at 2200 hours, whereas on my version of Stellarium, the moon and timeanddate.com, the moon doesn't rise until 2 a.m. So
Until 2 a.m.
yeah, how can it be? How come we're getting two different results from Spain on the moon? Put your Stellarium back up.
Okay. Yep. It's up. Let me screen share it.
And I'll show you what I'm seeing based on time and date, and my Stellarium is giving me different results to what you're showing there.
Okay, here we go, and we're on.
Not surprising. Oh, did we lose? No, we're good.
Okay, so look,
You lose Morgile?
okay, go to
No,
the
I'm on
fourth.
here.
Okay, cool.
All right, go to the fourth. Yeah,
Fourth. You want me to go? Okay.
yeah, and show me where the moon is. Moonrise on the fourth.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to the moonrise. Okay.
Right.
Oh. I don't.
In the east.
Is it in this cluster?
No, keep going.
No, not yet.
Go.
Keep going.
Yours moonrise is at 10 o'clock, right? Yeah. So you're missing. You got to scroll left on the page.
There's the moon.
Scroll left. Move to the east, so it will say east.
Yeah.
East.
There's the
Yeah.
moon.
So basically, there. Okay. Check the times there. Okay. This is the 2016.
21:47.
Listen, 2016, the first month, January, the fourth day of the month. It's at 2100, right?
Yeah.
Let's say 10 o'clock, 2200, 10 p.m. Okay, the moonrise. Yeah? Everyone seeing that?
Yep. There's the moon rising.
Dave, John?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, you're seeing that, right? How is that possible? I'm going to show you. Now I'm going to show you my time and date, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'll screen share, you go screen share.
Yep. You just click it, it'll go on.
Okay, I'm going to show you screen share. Okay, so time and date, 3rd of January, 4th of January, basically early morning. The moonrise is supposed to be at 3:03, 2:08 the day before, 3:03 the day later, right? So then I open Stellarium and I'll go to that now, yeah? And for me, the moonrise doesn't happen until like 2 a.m. in the morning. So, okay, here we go. So let's go to the east. Right, here we're going to see the moon come out. Let's go to date window. So we're going to go to the first month.
And
we're going to go to the fourth day. Right, and scroll back down. There, the moon hasn't risen until 3, right, as it says on time and date. So how is he getting one result and I'm getting another result?
But the stars are still matching, though. The
No,
pattern
so I'm looking at the time of the moonrise here. Yeah, how is it possible that on timeanddate.com it says the moonrise will be at 3 a.m. from Spain, my position in Malaga, and you're at Madrid, Spain, right? Which is slightly further east, just slightly. I think it's further north. How is he getting a time at 5 hours earlier? It's moonrise than me. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
really
that
doesn't
sounds
make any
right.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty weird, isn't it? So then the sun rises at 8 o'clock in the morning. This is what is supposed to be happening, and we got this the. I go back to the moon here, and we got the same alignment of the stars that we're seeing in
Yeah.
the
And
video.
I got to tell you, the color that's coming off of that sunrise is exactly the color that was in that image. So it's still sort of a mystery. And
But
go ahead.
but
Yeah,
but this is a different night though. You guys know it's the third into the fourth.
yeah. This is the
You,
fourth. I've got the fourth on screen here, right?
so this is the next night,
Yeah. If I
correct?
if I go to the third,
Yes.
moonrise is only an hour earlier. This is 1 a.m., 2 a.m., whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So we can scroll down and get the exact same time. And this is what time and date is showing me for my location. But Madrid's only a little bit further north than where I am, right? Little bit further north, a little bit further east, maybe. But
Yeah.
your time is showing at 10 o'clock in the evening, moonrise. Yeah, on your time, on your Stellarium software.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? There's some major problem there with Stellarium. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, that is odd, isn't it?
It's really odd.
Well, I'm
Well,
glad you
you
guys.
gotta.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, you gotta. We're getting this information's coming from the people that we're trying to, debunk here, which is
Right.
NASA.
But
Yeah.
it's
Um,
lining up though.
well, it lines up, but you know how ball earthers say, the Earth's round because of this, but they haven't thought of. There's sometimes two explanations, like Archimedes. The sun has to be 93 million miles away, or it has to be close and flat. There's two explanations. I'm still thinking that my idea that the sun and the moon are in line and we're not seeing the moon because it's dark.
No, but
We're looking at the dark side of
yeah.
the moon.
No, I think that the sun is beyond the horizon due to perspective. However many, couple of thousand miles away, hasn't risen yet due to perspective. I don't think we're seeing that the.
It's only 3 hours behind it. If you're up at 100, 120,000 feet, maybe who knows how high that was.
It's about 5 hours behind.
I thought it was 3 hours behind.
It's,
Three
it's
hour.
five, yeah, 5 to 6. So this is the moonrise to about 3 o'clock, right, on the fourth, right, and then the sun rises at 8. So it's like 5 hours.
So that's like
Here's
five.
the
That's like
third.
5,000 miles of spinning, right?
Here's the
Yes.
third. If we go, here's the rise of the moon on the third of the day we have the footage.
Yeah.
Goes up.
Are you
And then
sure?
here's the rise of the sun.
Now, can you see the moon and the sun at the same time?
Right there.
Right there.
Almost.
So, and that's from ground level.
But
So
our
why
vantage point isn't over here. We're actually like further back, right? I know that makes a stupid ball shape.
I wish we could. I wish we could go up to the stratosphere because I think that all of this perspective would change.
Yeah.
Can we? I don't know if Stellarium will let me rise.
I
I
don't
don't think
think
it
so
will, Phil,
either,
but
but and I don't even know how much to trust the source of that video because we were doing a show and I was in the chat group and this guy we were talking to he was talking about he did these weather balloon launches or whatever and I was asking him, do you have anything with the sun and the stars in the same shot? And he was like, yeah, and he sent this over to me. And so, I did, some degree of due diligence, but I just took him at his word and it really really looks like the sun, and I couldn't find the moon anywhere, and I didn't go so far as to do stellarium, but it even seems as if that still could be the sun, but again, even if it's the moon, then either way it disproves the heliocentric model totally. I mean, it's a win-win.
totally,
Yeah.
yeah. And
I'm gonna
also,
jump
I
in with
think
the video again while you're talking.
Yeah.
I think it shows the moon is localized and it has its own light. If we could go back, if anyone has the footage available, I'll stop screen sharing.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
I'm sharing
on.
right now.
Now you guys
Can
though
you see it?
think about this though too. I mean, we've all been on the ground and looked at moonlight. Moonlight only is a very soft, faint glow, and it only lights up a very local area. To me, that looks like a very, very distant sun that isn't sort of exciting and bluifying our atmosphere yet because it's not close enough.
It looks golden. I've been in kind of a golden amberish sunlight.
It really does look like the sun, and like Dave said, I don't know. I guess if the moon was in between us and the sun, or yeah, it would have to be, right?
But would we not be able to follow the stars that match the sun's path? Because these stars that follow this orb, because we're calling it either an orb or whatever, they match the moon.
Yeah, but so
Like
so
multiple.
so forget the sun. We're standing here. We've got the stars in the pattern, the pattern that they're at. We got this pattern right here.
Yeah.
But we get up higher. But let's say the
No.
moon was right here. And we don't see it, but
Yeah.
the stars are there. But we're looking farther into the distance, and there's the sun blinding us from seeing the moon.
Okay, if you leave this picture on, right, and then I come and show you this picture. Stop screen sharing. Screen share. If you leave that up, and then I get out of this, exit. It shows.
Gonna get rid of my picture though.
No, yours will still be okay. You can see this now.
Yep.
Okay, so with the picture, let's go right in with where you are. I'll just point this out one more time. So if that's the moon, that's Mars, and this is, how would you say that, Spica or Aver, whatever it is. Now you show yours again, please. View screen share.
Okay. There you go.
I can't see it. Okay, I gotta back out of this. Now, can you guys not see that's the exact same pattern?
Yeah.
I'm agreeing that it's the same pattern.
So it can't be the sun, because the sun will have its own pattern of stars that it's with that at that period of time.
Let's take your vision.
Yeah, he's right. The stars would be the sun and the moon. They move very similar speeds, and there will be a certain backdrop to the stars for the moon and for the sun. I don't think we're seeing the sun here at all. The sun's beyond the horizon.
Yes.
Right, but then that means that the light has to be passing through the moon.
Yes, the moon, and the Book of Enoch states that the light from the sun gets passed through to the moon. Basically, it almost states that, but it doesn't word it that way. It says it's transferred to the moon, and on the full moon, it receives all of its energy. It says that the light shines as well backwards into the heavens as it does to the earth. But that's just because we can get the sun here, guys. I'll just go real quick.
You want to know what I was thinking about today? Is so funny. But think about, instead of the moon and the sun having anything to do with anything to do with gravity, but instead being an electromagnetic sort of phenomenon. And of course, light is just an electromagnetic phenomenon. So what if there's sort of this, let's say, the sunlight is traveling across all this distance and it's getting diffused and scattered, but then when it comes close to the moon is sort of attracting all that sunlight and absorbing it.
Well, see, here's the pattern of the stars with the sun. You guys see this?
Yeah.
You see how the sun's moving with these stars?
Okay.
Okay, now I'm going to go back to the moon of the night before, reversing it back. There's the moon, and it has its own pattern.
Okay, but Ronnie, help me out here. The that's showing you from an equal point of view from Earth. If I ran 5 hours to the east and looked up, I would see different stars.
No,
but because I wouldn't.
No, you'd still see basically the same constellations that are within, let's say, maybe I'm gonna guess 1,000 miles. You're just gonna see them from a different angle, but you still see this cluster together.
Right, but see,
even,
well, my thing is it seemed to me like we were looking at it from the balloon standpoint, like we were somewhere off to the right of the screen facing left. But so you're saying that this is the viewpoint from the actual direction that the thing was facing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm thinking this is almost like the right. See how I have it on an angle now? The
Yeah.
other thing is I need to turn off some of the other because I'm just trying to say these groups of stars, they're gonna stay localized. Like
Right,
if you
because the
look up at the
moon
moon
the
right now,
moon travels with them just slightly faster or whatever, slightly slower or
it's
whatever.
slower. That's
Yeah.
right. Well, and the planets they wander at their own pace, but they stay a certain distance of time with that. You know, it's gonna get a little. Mars will get a little further away, a little further away.
Hmm.
But what I find is fascinating. That's why I'm trying to say that it can't be the sun
No, it can't be the
That's
sun. It
absolutely
definitely
right.
can't be the sun.
because
But
we can come back to the sun and it has its own
yes,
stars. See the sun over here? It has its whole other group, Mercury. Now you can track the sun's movements, and Mercury's going to stay with it, right?
yeah, yeah, it is. Yeah, for Dave's explanation of it being the sun, the camera would have to be 3,000 miles high, the same height as the sun and the moon, for it to be behind it, like what Dave's suggesting might be the case.
Yeah, and I was thinking it was 3 hours behind, but 5 hours behind, that is pretty, that's a good distance.
But the curious thing is, why is one is Stellarium saying the moonrise is at 10:30 p.m. and yet on time and date it's saying 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And then on my stellarium it says 3 a.m. When he's got his stellarium set to Madrid, which is just northeast of my location in Spain, Malaga, right? That's a weird anomaly right there. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the sky in terms of lights, and I think it has a lot to do with light just being electromagnetic fields that are sort of propagating along these. I think they propagate more readily along meridional lines just simply because of the electromagnetic flux lines that are sort of running north to south with the Earth. And so it just makes a lot of sense to me that light is propagating across those sort of paths of least resistance, or the already existing fields just more easily and further. But I don't know. It's all sort of a big mystery. But I think that this thing here is a big, huge blow to the heliocentric model. Either way, I mean, and I'm just going to leave my video up, but what I'll do is I'll just add this as sort of an appendage to it that, this is probably the moon, but by the way, it still totally debunks this whole globe Earth idea.
But why do you think it debunks the globe Earth?
Well, I think it shows to me that the moonlight is not being reflected from the a sun that's behind it. How could we be looking at a full moon when the sun is behind the moon, from our perspective?
Well, what we're seeing here, I mean, what we see in the video is very similar to what. Leave the screen, Ronnie, leave it as it is,
Yep.
right? Oh, we just saw a bit of the moon there, the phase of the moon, and now that's gone for some reason. I don't know why it's changed. We saw the moon pointing downwards, the light lit half of the moon pointing downwards, didn't we?
And that's the same effect right
Uh,
there as we're getting in the video.
yeah, similar. Yeah, it should be slightly more illuminated than that, I believe. Um, the moon, but that's the kind of angle. Uh,
Here's the constellations that we matched. That one and this one.
and that angle is pointing towards the sun on a globe model.
This, yeah, that's correct. But what we're seeing is it's coming out on this side.
Right.
Right.
We were looking at a full moon from the other
Yeah,
side. We
right.
weren't in between the moon and the sun. The moon was coming towards us and the sun was coming towards us. In that
Yeah.
succession, moon first, then the sun. So the sun is behind the moon over that curve of the earth or beyond that vanishing point in the astral plane or whatever.
Yes. And you see how Stellarium just all of a sudden raises the height of the moon, but we could see in the footage that the moon was localized and the light was like diffusing in a different way. If you could put that video up one more time.
Yeah,
Um, really cool.
they're totally just mashing everything to fit into the heliocentric model because from the ground I think the observations work, but I think that when you get up
Yes.
even just a few thousand feet, things change because not everything's not nearly as distant as we've been told. I
Yeah,
mean,
because this is the view we should be getting from the balloon. Should be this tiny moon way off around these stars, but we're not. We're getting like a localized. The moon seems to be over here, and we're up higher, so it should, like I'm saying, it should look more like that, but it's not.
Yeah,
rotating.
it should be 250,000 miles away, not.
Yeah, we're not localized with like the way the light's diffusing along the beautiful flat plane we live on. If you could put that video on,
And
it's
wait, and
just
if you could
I don't know.
freeze that, and so just so I understand this, if we were to just keep this camera here fixed in this direction for 5 hours, we'd eventually see the sunrise from that same direction, right?
Yeah. Oh well, it's on some different mode, but yes. See the sun rising right here.
Are you
Uh,
guys
uh,
seeing my screen or
Well,
I'm
I'm
his?
seeing
seeing,
Code's screen.
Oh, you're
yeah,
not
I'm
seeing my screen?
not
Yeah,
yours.
no, I have the video up with the sun, with the
Yeah.
whatever the body, we'll
I just
call
want to
it.
make sure
Okay.
I've got the order correct because I'm pretty sure I've got it, and I'm just kind of curious. And what is this shadow? I guess that's maybe just an anomaly with the lens, but it's almost as if
Yeah.
something keeps passing in front of it.
Oh, look at that! Wait a minute. Is that the moon? um, honestly, I mean,
Really, because
it's probably something on the lens.
the
We're
moon
getting a
may,
lens flare there. I mean, that whole glow
Yeah.
around the moon
Yeah,
is
yeah, yeah.
like the lens
no,
and
but
not
Well,
being in focus.
there's a
you can see
shadow.
that. Yeah, you can see that they're like filming through something.
I think that's
There's
the
a sort.
terminator of the moon's diffused light, Morgo.
You
It's
think?
the wave. It's a wave, not a shadow. It's
No,
a
because
wave.
no. This is from the launch, and this shows at the beginning of the video.
Oh,
They
okay.
they they have that. That's from the
Camera
whole
lens.
video. The whole video. See,
Yeah.
Yeah,
from the whole video.
it was very misleading because I'm not sure why the guy would have told me that, because I assumed that since he launched the balloon, he knew where the sun and shit was. So I
Well,
don't
he
know.
didn't know we were gonna find this picture right there. Just
Right.
had it right there.
Right.
This right here is 100% irrefutable proof that the moon is localized and it has its own light source. In my opinion, and if I'm right, the only way that I could have figured this out is because of God. So you guys go ahead.
Let me. I want to just. I just want to go back to my diagram for a second. Um, and as far as you say that the moon and the sun have their own stars following each other. So here's my little guy on the Earth, and these are the stars with the moon. But then everything's rotating from the east to the west. And when my guy comes over here, there's different stars with the sun, and that's what we're agreeing on as the stars and the moon and the sun all move together. But as we come up, you know, um, we're still seeing these same stars. The moon is here, but the sun is here with its own stars. Maybe the perspective changes a little bit, but we can't see the difference from on the ground because we don't have that in the video. But again, the moon would be invisible. There's the sun. We could easily mistake the sun for the moon.
Well, and there is
That's
this whole thing
Yeah.
that the moon supposedly reflects light, but it also lets light pass through it. I don't know if you guys have seen the stars through the dark side of the moon during eclipses or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
we've all seen that, but here's a question for you. Isn't it possible that we're not seeing a star through the moon, that we're seeing a star in front of the moon?
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
thought about that, and I've also thought about something like gravitational lensing, but maybe just magnetic lensing to some weird, I don't know, extent.
But you took that down. You could one more second. You could have showed
I'll
that.
put it back up. I'll put it back up.
And
Sorry.
then okay, you put that up, and then I'm gonna put mine up after because I just want to
Okay.
point this out one more time. So your diagram there. Can we move the sun to the left,
Yep.
all the way to the left, and then okay, because I guess due to perspective, like no, you're gonna have to put it way past your green guy.
Okay.
Okay, okay, so this is where the sun is in the balloon launch, but our perspective view is stopping us where the green guy is. That's the distance we can see in this balloon launch for some reason, whether it's the size of the Earth. So if you hold it there and I click on mine, I can just show you guys how this happened. Where is it?
Oh,
There we go.
so you're saying that the balloon was in between the sun and the moon?
Um,
Because I thought
sorry,
I thought it went balloon,
Balloon,
moon,
moon, sun.
sun.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we saw it rise and we saw where the balloon about would have been.
The sun is
okay,
5 hours away, so it's a quarter of the way around the Earth, or a quarter
okay,
of
here
the
we go.
Right.
Okay, so here's the moon. You
Yep.
guys saw where the sun was, right? where the sun's going to come.
The sun's going to come up right behind where the moon is.
Right there. So you see in your diagram, right? So where's the moon? So the sun is this way. So from our perspective, we're seeing to this line. So the sun is somehow, because it's up here, but still in the distance, shooting its energy to the moon, and then it's casting a reflection down. Now, if you could put up your still image real quick again,
The sun,
David.
yeah, stellarium is
The,
showing the sun down low, but the sun, I believe,
no,
is higher than the moon.
yeah, it's at the same height, but it's further past the horizon. It's not lower. We all know the perspective, right?
But I think do you guys believe that the sun is slightly higher than the moon because the moon doesn't ever go behind the sun? The moon goes in front of the sun, I think.
But if we put up the picture
Yeah,
of the
yeah, I think
localized light,
might be something to that, Dave. I mean, how do we get how do we see the eclipse if the moon and the sun are at the same height?
Yeah, so the sun's a little higher, even
But
though
that could be perspective. That could be a function of perspective.
no, of course. So from here's the balloon up in the air. We're looking at the moon, and we'll put the moon up here. Um, but in the distance, we're seeing the sun down here. But in reality, if you put a guy underneath here, he would see that the sun is really up here
yeah,
from this point of view. But perspective makes him think. It makes him makes him see it, makes him see it down here. So that's a little difficult to put together. But whether the sun is here, here, or here, you
yeah,
can't see the moon from here, and you could mistake it for the sun. I'm saying
no,
it's a possibility. You can't. Okay.
no, it's 100% verified by the star patterns and the
Okay.
time of the balloon launch. We are seeing the moon, and the sun that you have here is on the left, and it's past our horizon point. And what we're seeing is, in my opinion, if we have a picture of the video now, the diffused light, we can actually see, in my opinion, how it's working. This is just brilliant. Morgal, I saw your video this morning. Amazing job with Bob song. Dave's video, amazing too. Everybody, we're not all right, we're not all wrong here. But this to me is the best evidence I've seen in a long time, besides water.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, if the moon was that far away, like 240,000 miles away, you'd still get a similar effect of the lighting on the clouds and things like that.
right, but the sun has to be lighting it from behind us, and it's 5 hours around a curve.
It's not, yeah,
Yeah.
if we live on a heliocentric
Right.
Copernican line, but we
Yeah.
don't. We
Yep.
know that.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. That I mean, either way, if it was the sun, it debunks the heliocentric model, and because if it's the moon, it does the same.
Yeah,
Because
either way, either way.
yeah, because there's no way that the sun is lighting that full moon without the sun somewhere in the picture, and it's nowhere in the picture if that's
It
the
was a
moon.
half moon, though, isn't it?
And you can
Yeah,
still
that's
see
what's
how
so
it's
weird.
dark
But
in
it's
there.
but it's a
See how
full
it's dark?
moon. That's what I was trying to tell you guys before. It's a half moon tonight, but it's a full moon from our perspective. So that tells me that we're about on the same freaking level as the moon here in the stratosphere.
Yeah, I'm thinking the clouds can go behind the sun and the moon. I know I get shilled on a lot for that video, but
Well, no, I
you
don't
know,
think that it's. I don't think that physically they are, but I think that it's just light passing through different layers of sort of media and clashing with it, and maybe causing a sort of
yeah,
a mirage of a moon. I mean, I think that there's a
yeah,
lot of mirages or sort of I don't know. I wouldn't say projections, but just light behaving differently as it passes down through all these different layers of plasma and electromagnetic fields and atmosphere that we have. So sort of weird.
when was this? So this could have been flat earthers disguising this test for the meteor just so we could get our first shot of the moon from space, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I've
Up in mass,
never
it's never.
try to find no seriously try to find a moon a really good shot of the moon from a weather balloon footage, and it's always a
Yeah.
little tiny dot.
Yeah, I've been waiting a whole year just so I could throw it in Stellarium. Exactly as soon as I got home from work, I did exactly what I posted. I was like, and then I called Matrix. I'm like, dude, we gotta tell everybody. And like I said, I'm really glad we're. But look at how beautiful. If that is the moon, such an interesting shot of how the light's being cast.
Yeah, because it's very distant, and usually when the moon is that distant, it's just a little tiny dot. Um, and
Yeah.
yet the sun is supposed to be 5,000 miles around a curve. I don't even want to figure out how far of a drop that's supposed to be expected. That's a great deal of curvature. How the hell is it lighting that? And by the way, how the hell are we seeing a full moon when it's supposed to be a half moon and the moon is supposed to be 250,000 miles away?
And you guys do know that it's clear proof that that's the moon, because if it was the sun, it would be lit up like we see in an everyday balloon footage of the sun.
Right.
This is a totally different light.
what would be lit up?
The
The
ground.
blue sky,
Well, no,
yeah.
no, that's well, the sky is that's another issue. But I don't believe from a distance that you can see the ground because you're looking
And we
through.
wouldn't be able to see those stars if that was the sun. Because we wouldn't be able to see the stars behind the sun. That is definitely the moon, and in my opinion, it's projecting light. I don't think it's reflecting light, but that's just me.
Yeah, but we're getting a half moon. It's really what we're seeing is a half moon. When you look at the close up of when you don't have the glare, you're seeing a half moon pointing downwards.
Matrix is contending that this is a half moon, and we're
Like a
just
cookie.
seeing
It is.
like a half moon because if we go to right there,
There. Yeah,
you
that's we only
know,
see half the light.
but I don't know. That's arguable, but it's a point. It's
That's
just that
one hell
it's
of a bright.
so.
That's bright for a full moon. It's extremely bright for a half moon, but I
But have
see
you
what you're
ever zoomed
saying.
in on a Have you ever zoomed in on the moon with your cell phone
Oh, it's bright, yeah.
or a cheap It looks like that. But we just don't see the overall diffused glow of the light because we're on the ground. This is the first time I've ever seen the diffused light. It's definitely, you guys have to admit, it definitely is the moon. It would be bright like daytime, and you'd see a wave of light like a reflection on a lake. You know
Well,
how
and
it
see,
has that round.
that's why I was so confused because see, the person that sent this to me sent it to me, I guess under false pretenses because I was under the impression that it was the sun was about to come
The
up or
sun.
maybe about to set, and so what I thought was happening was we were just seeing it was basically nighttime or about twilight hours, and as we were gaining altitude, we were getting a better perspective of the sun. But if this is the moon, that's all fine and dandy with me. I've already put caveats in my video, and I think once we upload this, and again, I'll send you all copies once I have it rendered, if you want, because I think this is a really freaking awesome proof, man. I
I'd
think,
love.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I think for future balloon launches at night, we're not going to be able to see the sun no matter where it is. I mean, it's still going to drop behind the horizon.
Well, we're
Well,
gonna try
no,
it.
but
We want to
but
do it in
no, but
tomorrow.
there will be a way to do it though, to where if you launch it, say, an hour before sunset, and you
Mhm.
leave it up there for 4 hours, if you
Yeah,
can still see the sun 4 hours later, then that's game set match.
yeah,
And an hour before sunrise. You have to do both.
Yeah,
yeah. Well, it has to
That's what
be
I want to do
yeah,
this summer.
an hour before sunset.
with a compass and a date timestamp that can be, encrypted or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing that out there, an invite to any people like Morgal and David Weiss and Matrix. If we sell enough tickets to this convention that a bunch of us are wanting to have in Toronto, we can pay the guys to come in to do presentations. We're going to do one from the CN Tower restaurant that revolves, 1,000 foot view, and we wanted to do two balloon launches and just some sort of a nature thing. I don't know if you guys have passports, but it definitely will be paid. The people presenting will be paid. So I'm not getting to keep the
Awesome.
money, all the proceeds. Yeah. So I'm just throwing it out there. We're thinking in maybe August. So just a quick
Yeah,
update on
I
that.
don't have a passport, but I should probably get one. And by the way, I'm glad that I got a hold of you guys because I know I've been trying to get up with you, Event Skeptic for a while, and Matrix. It's been a while. I'm doing a show on Saturdays that I'm just sort of having like a roundtable free for all, where basically I've got a lot of contributors that are just gonna do, sometimes, not always. Some of them will be always, but I can have up to 10 people at once. And what I'll do is, if you guys want, I'll just add you to the invite list. And if you can make a Saturday, great. If not, that's fine too.
I posted a
Cool.
promo for
Yeah,
your
cool.
show.
Thanks.
AIR, yeah, touched me already, man. Good job.
Awesome. Well,
All right,
let me get my little notepad file out so I can get you guys contact information really, really quick, or I'll
all
totally
right.
forget.
I I already took down my video. I guess I'm going to edit it and and
You
re-upload
put
it.
it back up. Yeah,
No, no,
man. You
Yeah, I'm leaving it. I'm leaving mine up. I just put a caveat that this might be the moon, and that's fine with me, because
I'm
the
going to change
breakthrough.
it,
yeah,
make it better.
yeah.
I saw it right away, you guys. As soon as I put it in Stellarium, that video that I uploaded already was the first take. I was dumbfounded, man. I'm like, I can't. This is unbelievable. I thought it was the sun too until I
Mhm.
put it into Solarium and selected the moon and saw the exact patterns. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like a gift.
Well,
You
and
guys are giving me a gift.
one thing that I did is I took that whatever it was into Photoshop and I played around with the levels a little bit and I got some moon-like patterns on it a little bit, but then I did the same thing to known pictures of the moon and known pictures of the sun, and you know there was no sort of consistency, so I didn't get anything out of that. But it did sort of, you know, I could sort of make out some craters when I really played around with the variables and stuff with it.
Yeah.
Uh, Anyways, just want to take a moment to really thank David Weiss, Matrix Decode, and Event Skeptic for hanging out with me to sort of sift through the stellarium data and sort of talk through what's going on with this body, this very brilliantly lit body in the video I posted yesterday. So, yeah, I was told that it was the sun by the shooter of the video, and I did, you know, some form of due diligence in terms of while trying to find the moon and trying to make sure it wasn't the moon just from, you know, observing the light. But it does appear that when you look at the background stars, that object is the moon. But that's even still, it's even good proof. Probably I would say even better proof of the heliocentric model being incorrect. Because again, in order for that thing to be lit, the sun would have to be somewhere visible in the sky, and it also showed that the moon or whatever object that is very close. Um, let's also not forget that the sun was supposed to be 5,000 miles plus behind the moon. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense if we're seeing the reflection of the moon on the opposite side of where we should see the reflection. Pretty strange. Anyway, just wanted to thank those guys for the, you know, hanging out with me, and I'm also going to include, I did sort of a preliminary investigation that I had recorded but didn't include with my original video upload, as well as some investigation into Stellarium on my own. But I was using the wrong dates. I was using dates the 6th and the 7th, but from the original video length, we found that it was actually filmed on the 3rd. So I would just like to take a minute to anyone that does weather balloon launches, or if you plan to do a weather balloon launch in the future, please be sure to include a directional compass as well as the exact date, time, and Latin longitude, you know, directly in the video, so that in case it gets shared, all that information will be directly overlaid in the video. The exact date, time, and Latin longitude coordinates from where you launch the balloon. Anyway, thanks so much, and I'll just go ahead and include it's sort of boring and it's not cut anyway special, but I'll include my sort of personal investigation before we had a chance to go through it with the gang there. I'm no expert with Stellarium, so it was great to have Event Skeptic and Matrix to sort of help me along with that. And I'm still learning Stellarium, but anyway, thank you guys so much, and I'll just go ahead and include the second part, just you know, to add some length to it, and for anyone that wants to see what I was doing with Photoshop, at least. Anyway, the stuff I was doing with Stellarium was irrelevant because I was using the wrong dates. Hey, what's up, everybody? Just doing a little follow up to the sun rising at night video. I got a call from a friend, said that somebody was saying that might have been the moon, and they used Stellarium to figure that out. So I'm trying to sort of retrace their steps and re-research this thing, because basically I was just given this video from a dude, said he sent up a weather balloon, and um, I guess I was led to believe it was the sun. And you know, when I was cutting the video together, the thing sure looked like the sun. I even, you know, studied the video looking for the moon and zooming in on the object that appears to be the sun. Um, But according to what I was told, that stellarium shows the moon as being visible by some of those stars in the same area. Now, from what I gather, that weather balloon footage was taken on the Iberian Peninsula, which is in Spain, during the 2016 quadralids. And when I researched that, I find that that was either on January the 6th or January the 7th. The time on this article I found was Thursday, January the 7th at 7, but I don't know if that's the date of the article or the date of the launch. So I'm not sure what date they actually filmed this balloon footage, but I'm thinking it was either the 6th or the 7th of January, because if you look at, and by the way, the GMT, Greenwich Mean Time in Spain, is GMT plus 2, and this article was Eastern Standard Time, I believe. Yeah, so that's Eastern Standard Time, so it's going to be, that's -5. So this Spain will be 7 hours ahead, so we have to add 7 hours to whatever time the balloon launch was actually done. But I wasn't able to get a good time on when the balloon launch was done. The only information I got was where it was shot, which was apparently, they were just very general. They said over the Iberian Peninsula, which is essentially Spain. So I chose Portugal for my little stellarium experiment. And for the 2016 quadralids, what I'm seeming to find is January 6th or January 7th. I looked at this one here. It didn't have a date for the launch either. You'd think that they'd give a date, but I looked all over this thing. It gives all about the different equipment that they used. But it doesn't say the date. I mean, it talks about their 2012, 2016. It doesn't say anything about the date and time when they launch, so I am interested. But I'm assuming that it's the January 6th or 7th range, so I'll try both of those days and see if I can see what the moon's doing from Spain. And maybe I'm wrong about these dates, but yeah, it looks like it was from the 7th, but I'll just go ahead and do it on the 6th and the 7th, because I remember I did see something about the quadratids being visible on the 6th. So we'll go into stellarium, and I mean, I guess I can just show you guys where we're at. It is indeed Portugal, Spain, if I can remember how to do this. Here we go. So Portugal, Elite, Spain, Earth. I would assume that's Portugal. I don't think they'd have two things named Portugal in Spain, right? Okay, so Spain's not all that big of an area anyway. So anyway, this is at around the 1400 mark, so it would have been 7 hours after 7 o'clock Eastern. That's assuming that's the time that this was shot, 7 o'clock Eastern, so 1400. It's 2:15 in the morning, so that can't be right. I'm just really curious. I wished they would have put a date in that video. So let's just scroll through this bad boy and see if we can find a date. It just says from the 2016. Much data on it. Yes, please, you guys, when you do weather balloons, put up clocks, date timestamps, and compasses. Now, if that don't look like the freaking sun, I don't know what does. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is I'm just going to try to see if I can play around with different like negative configurations and play around with the color levels and the balance, just to see if I can see any sort of patterns on the object, or see if I can create similar sort of distortion patterns using known pictures of the sun and moon, and sort of compare that with what we've got. This is kind of a still up in the air for me. I'm really not sure. I don't think it's the moon. It really does look like the sun, but it could just be sort of a trick of that camera using high amount of yellow. And it makes all the light appear to be yellow. I don't remember ever seeing the moon that brightly, brilliantly lit from weather balloon footage. Usually it's a very faint, small dot. And the other point is, if this is a full moon, then where's the sun, right? I mean, I guess it just doesn't make any sense, but in order for there to be a full moon, the sun would have to be shining directly on it. So the sun would be behind us visibly. So even if that, does that look like a sun or a moon, or even if this is a full moon, then it also disproves the heliocentric model because the sun is not, because we do a full 360 around in this, in that video. You get to see every direction around. It goes around in a few circles, and the sun is nowhere to be seen. So that disproves the heliocentric model that way. And if this is the sun rising after it should have set, or when it should be below the curve, because again, if it's below the curve on the ground, then when you gain up in altitude, it should still be below that curve up in higher altitude, especially if the sun is setting. Unfortunately, I didn't have too much date and time information on this, so I was sort of just going by what the dude who apparently filmed this and launched the balloon had told me, because I had mentioned to him that I was specifically looking for footage of the sun and the stars in the same shot, and he said that he had it. So I did trust him and believe that that was the sun, but I also did, do some things, on my own end here to verify or at least scrutinize it a little bit, and it didn't look like the moon to me at all. I mean, I've seen lots of pictures of the moon, and I've never seen a moon that looks like the sun, but again, it could be a lighting issue. Okay, so as I was going through editing this video, I happened to notice this still shot, and it just sort of struck me something that Dave had said last night about how this could possibly be a perspective thing, since we are supposedly in the stratosphere, which I did look up is somewhere between 23,000 to 33,000 feet. So we'll just say we're about 25,000 feet higher. So if the maker of that video could be is to be trusted that that's how high it got. I didn't see any barometric reading data, so we'll just assume that we're that high up. But Dave had said perhaps the moon is invisible to us, and that still is the sun. Now we are sort of seeing an odd shape here, so it doesn't look like a full sun, but the sun does sort of change its shape when you get up to these altitudes. But one thing that I just thought was kind of odd here is this little thing here. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that this is the moon, but what I'm saying is this maybe could be the moon. I'm not going to say that, but I just thought it was kind of odd, and I figured I would bring it into Photoshop and just see if we can get any clarity on it. Negative real quick. Still sort of does look like there's an object there. I don't know, that's pretty odd there. Again, I'm sort of focusing on this object here. Because again, here's what it just looks like in the regular picture, and it does sort of have some circularity toward to it, almost as if it's because we noticed if you go back and watch through the video again, there's a section where this shadow seems to be coming in front of the moon and just sort of rocks back and forth with the camera. But let's just see here. Also, if that secondary sort of object is the moon, then it would actually appear to correlate. It would appear to correlate with the correct phase of the moon. Y'all see that? So I don't know. I'm not going to say that's the moon there, as in this object here, but I'll go on the record and say that this here is probably the moon. Now one odd thing about it is it was supposed to be a half moon that night. So just to show you January 3rd. So January 3rd, the moon should have looked like this right here. So very obviously a half moon. And so if this here is the moon, then yeah, I mean, I do sort of see that it's not a perfect circle, but there are other shots in the same video where it does appear to be perfectly circular, which I did zoom in upon in the video that I did yesterday. But anyway, I am still a little bit concerned with this here. And again, it's like Dave said. Let me see if I can just draw out a quick sort of example of what we're saying here. And I'm not contending that this is the moon, but what I'm saying, I'm just going to try to sort of illustrate what Dave had mentioned, and does sort of make sense in a flat Earth model if you think about it. Okay, so we'll just consider the flat Earth model first. So obviously this here will be the ground, green ground. Since it was nighttime, we'll have a black sky, right? And so based on the stellarium data, it appeared, whoops, it appeared based on the star configurations, and maybe I should bring all of this over, that what we were looking at was the moon based on stellarium data. Now, in the flat Earth model, the sun is, let's make it yellow. Yep. The sun is way over here. Now on the globe Earth model, the sun's way down here around a curve, and we're basically in the balloon. Here, let me put a little circle for the balloon. All balloons are red, so there you go. There's the little observer, and we'll put a directional. So there's the observer. Here is the moon, and the sun, again in the globe Earth model, is way down here below a curve, somehow casting its light on the moon and reflecting it towards us. So that doesn't make much sense. Now, in the flat Earth model, the moon and the sun are essentially on the same level. The sun is probably a little higher than the moon, but from this perspective here, from sitting over here, remember everything above you drops lower and lower as it gains distance. So if the sun's say up here, it may actually appear to be down here, or down here, or if it gets far enough away, that's what causes sunset. Even though it's staying on this same plane, according to you, it's getting lower and lower, and to the point to where the horizon actually covers it up. So again, the sun's not going below the horizon, just according to the laws of perspective. If the sun's, say, this much higher than the moon, the further away it gets, it's going to start dropping lower and lower and lower and lower. Now, typically, when we're standing on the ground, when something gets so far away, it just dips beneath the horizon. We, that's what made people think it's going over the curve of the Earth, but it's just you can't see to infinity, right? Um, so, at any rate, um, what Dave was saying is, well, first of all, what Stellarium was saying is that the sun also has a set of stars that it's going to essentially travel um, with a, there's a retrograde to the moon, and the sun basically travels with the same speed with the other stars, but there's also an apparent motion of the sun when compared to the background stars as well. So they're each sort of moving at their own different speeds. But at any rate, what Dave had been suggesting is that we may have still been seeing that brilliantly lit sun. However, it was so far away that it was lighting up or bluifying the atmosphere down here. Everything down here is going to be excited and lit. But since we're not into the effect of the sun yet, since we're just high enough to see it, that we're not experiencing that daytime because it would have to be if it's 5 hours behind the moon. If sunrise is 5 hours later than moonrise, then in either model it's going to be something like 5,000 miles away. Again, in the globe Earth model, it would have to be 5,000 miles down, around the curve, but in the flat Earth model, let's just say this is 5,000 miles. If this guy here is standing on the ground, his vanishing point is going to be, let's just say right here. So it's still nighttime for him. So we'll just call that the vanishing point for this observer here on the ground, right? But that vanishing point is going to increase with altitude. So as he gets up to 35,000 feet, then the sun becomes visible because his vanishing point is going to, fall away with altitude. So again, I'm not still trying to contend that that image or that object in that video was the sun. I'm just trying to illustrate the point. And again, the only reason I'm even doing this is because of this right here. Even though the sun may be higher up than the moon, technically, if it's more distant, it could appear to be lower in the sky, especially if the moon is closer to us. So the closer object on the same plane would appear higher, the same object on the same plane would appear lower, and actually this angle here, just out of curiosity, and I'll just go ahead and OK this, and we'll just undo. So let me just see if I can play with this a bit first. Very strange. Very strange indeed. And either case, like I was saying in the video or the talk with Matrix Dave and Event Skeptic, was that either way, whether this major object here is the sun or the moon, either way, it's a big, big slap in the face to the heliocentric model, which is why, I just left my video up, and I'm comfortable enough just leaving this as a sort of follow-up caveat, correction, and even further investigation into what exactly we're seeing, because again, this object here doesn't appear to display any characteristics of the moon. The only reason that we're led to believe that it's the moon is based on stellarium data, which there were some discrepancies in the stellarium and date and time in terms of moonrise, which Matrix pointed out. Now, again, that could be due to topography, but I'm not going to go that in depth into the research. I'll go ahead and say this here probably is the moon, but again, this little object here, I don't know. It leaves you to wonder. I guess further investigation into the video is necessary, but I think this is good enough to sort of make my correction to the video I made yesterday, and in still good confidence leave it up because it's still a good proof, whether it's the sun or the moon. But what do you guys think? It's definitely something going on here. So I'll just go ahead and leave it at that and share this with you guys and sort of insert this into the video because, wow, this is very odd. Um, Even playing around with the lighting, I'm still not seeing it look anything like a moon, but either way, either way, this is a big, big problem for the heliocentric model because, again, if it's the sun, then it shouldn't be visible. If it's the moon, and it's a full moon, apparently very brilliantly lit, the most brightest moon I've ever seen, it's casting sun-like, uh, projections on the ground near it, like the sun does here. That's actually a picture of the sun. Allegedly, it looks like and of course the curvature of the Earth down there. That was definitely a fisheye situation, but um, and this may even be a fake picture of the sun. Who knows? I don't know if this is coming from NASA, but just wanted to sort of see if I could recreate similar distortion patterns, generating different distortion patterns than that other picture. But then again, that other picture created different sorts of distortion patterns in different series of that same event of the same object. So it has a lot to do, I think, with the atmosphere and the noise around it. Um, but it's just sort of a way to get, sort of hidden color information or display color information differently, so that it might reveal some sort of anomalies or some sort of data that's sort of hidden behind that high gamma area or that very brightly lit area. And so again, this image here is the one from the balloon footage, and it does seem to have some Oh no, I'm sorry. Is that the sun? Okay, wait a minute. There's the one from the sun. There's the one from the moon footage. It does sort of seem like it has some moon qualities to it when you bring really the when on the right where the blues are come out, but I just want to freeze frame it here real quick because you notice when this whatever this light is, whether it's the sun or the moon, when it comes off to the peripherals or the edges of this lens here, you'll notice that it sort of, and it does this a few times, but it sort of turns into this sort of conical shape, and a couple times it sort of has like rainbow colors, it seems, which I've seen that sort of phenomenon with sunlight in space or above the atmosphere before, and I don't remember seeing that sort of. It's not a sundog, it's something like that, but I don't remember ever seeing that with moonlight. So, and again, this could just be because it's being obscured by this periphery or the edge of the lens, but also, again, this does appear to be in line or characteristic with sunlight. So that's just an observation. It could prove to be something else. I am looking at it kind of small here, but yeah, it's you'll notice if you look at a lot of weather balloon footage, you'll see like when certain lens flare situations happen with sunlight, you'll get these very multicolored, almost like top shape or diamond shaped, uh, like aberrations or just like refractions or maybe reflections or something. But it only appears to be that sort of shape coming from sunlight for some reason. Maybe from moonlight, but I don't remember seeing it from moonlight. So, again, what I'm just trying to do is take some known pictures of the sun and the moon and compare them under different sort of lighting manipulations, just to sort of see if we can find any sort of commonalities between any of the objects. And I'm not even 100% sure that like this sun here above the globe Earth is even a real image, but it looks like it is. It's just using, the typical fisheye lens to give the Earth a curve, but it could be total CGI. But the light from that sun object does seem to behave similarly to other celestial lights when when you sort of manipulate the parameters here. Forgive me for being so silent. I'm just trying to work some quick things out real quick. Again, just trying to see if we can find any commonalities or any sort of observations we can do with Photoshop, just sort of manipulating some of the parameters with gamma and the color levels and the contrast levels and that sort of thing. So keep getting about the same result. And it does sort of, I guess you could say that kind of resembles a moon, but Again, it's sort of fuzzy.